What's up, Rolos? Welcome to another episode of the Millennial Rolodex. I think it's just Millennial Rolodex, but I'm gonna keep on saying the Millennial Rolodex because I don't remember what it is. Once again, this is very similar to the last episode, but just part two of not remembering what the name of this podcast is. My podcast is. We might have a special guest later. I don't know, depending on somebody creeping around the studio, aka our apartment, which is a studio also. So that actually doubles as studio. Studio. My studio is a studio because we live in a studio, guys. Spoiler alert. The beverage of choice today that you could hear me drinking ever so gingerly is a green plus white tea, smooth and subtle. Tea's Tea organic brand, unsweetened, and it's pretty delicious. And it's jacking me up on this Wednesday afternoon. I think it's the night. I don't know. Is 6:26? That's time stamped p.m. Is that the night or is that the afternoon? I think that 6 is still the afternoon. 7 is when we hit the night. I don't know. I don't remember if that was a topic of conversation on an episode, but I feel like 7. I feel like that sounds right for it to be night. So we're gonna say it is the afternoon, late afternoon still, guys. And shout out to me if you agree, your thoughts on what afternoon is, what night is, and what's morning. Let's hear it all. I would say morning ends at 12. I would say afternoon ends at 7. And night, that's a tricky one. Night ends at like 3, I think. I think 4, that's the morning. 4 we'll say is the morning. So that's that's my rendition of time, guys, of what constitutes as morning, evening, and night, or morning, afternoon, and night. So the more you know on the Millennial Rolodex. So I hope everybody's doing good this week. I don't know. I guess we just have the Super Bowl. We just had the Super Bowl, and that was a thing. That was a snoozer of a game, I would say. It wasn't even like it was good. The defense was good. If you know anything about sports or football, it was a good defensive game for a while, but then it just was boring. It just wasn't, it wasn't a really good game. And I haven't been, full transparency, I haven't been following football in a while. I used to be a diehard Giants fan, and I haven't been following it for a while, and like I said, for the second time. And so I don't really know all these new players and stuff, but this guy Drake May, the Patriots quarterback, is like 23 years old and a very good player. Obviously, he made the Super Bowl. I think he let the moment get to him a little bit. He was a little frazzled. You could tell he had the pregame jitters that lasted the entire game, it looked like. And he's 23, so obviously he's going to have, if he's lucky, which he also seems like a good player, so he'll have more than enough times to make the Super Bowl and win the Super Bowl. I think this was a good experience for him, and you could tell it was like a young guy getting a little frazzled dazzled by the moment, which is hard. How can you not get frazzled? I mean, think about it. You're 23, right? I don't know. I saw before like the big game, the Super Bowl, they interview the quarterbacks, they interview all the players, and I think he comes from like a long line of athletes. Like his whole family's athletic, his dad's athletic, everybody's an athlete, and your sport is football. You choose to be a professional football player, and you make the Super Bowl at 23 years old, which he's like I think he's the second youngest player to ever, second youngest quarterback to make the Super Bowl. And you make it. That's the pinnacle. That's the creme de la creme of your life's passion career, and you make it there. and everybody's watching you, and you're like, oh, this is my chance to win a Super Bowl right here. And that's a lot of pressure you could put on yourself, you know, especially all the energy, everybody talking to you, going through the interviews, going through like the pre-games, like everything, all that. And then when you get there, you see you're in the Coliseum, Roman Coliseum gladiator arena, and everybody's chanting and for you or against you. It's crazy. So yeah, I think that is, you could be a great athlete, you could be amazing at what you do, but it's how you deal with it under the pressure that, quite frankly, honestly, you put it on yourself. And because obviously it's all your perspective. It's all whether what story, I say this a lot, like the story you tell yourself. It's the story you tell yourself. If you're like, oh, this is my whole life, this is what my whole life means right now, it's gonna be hard to perform under that pressure that you put on yourself, you know. And I think that, like, if you ever hear interviews or like hear these professional athletes, seasoned professional athletes, but also like people in the military, like Navy SEALs or Delta Force or all these kind of guys, you ever hear them talk, it sounds very procedural, very like they might not be the best physical, intelligent, the best, they might not be the best of it, but they know how to get the job done, and they know how to like stay calm, which is probably the most important thing to do in any task, especially high anxiety tasks. Stay calm under pressure. And that's what you need to do, I think, probably to accomplish anything that you want to do in life. It's how you stay calm, and how you stay calm under the pressure, and how you react in like big moments, or what you deem to be big moments, you know. And I don't know, there's definitely sports psychologists out there and stuff that help with this kind of thing. That's why it's like a big industry. But it really is like up to the person at the end of the day to say like, all right, this is just another game, or just another fight, or just another day in the office. And you kind of have to have that like calm, cool, collected personality, you know, that calm, cool, collective like swag. And when those big moments come, you could just, it's like any other day, you know. And not to say you'll win or you'll make it out on top, but that's how you give yourself the best ability to come out, I guess, as a victor. Unless the other person just has that same thing and just better that day, you know. So that's my TED Talk. Having said that, being a high school level athlete, take my advice. I feel like I'm a coach. I feel like I'm a life coach, and I need to walk around with a whistle all the time and a baseball hat and just start whistling. Come on, guys, hustle, hustle. And just like talking to random people on the street. Come on, guys, you got to hustle. Come on. Like, what's this fucking weirdo doing? But yeah, so I think the older you get, the more you feel like a high school coach for whatever, football, baseball, anything. So that's that. Let's roll the Rolodex right now. That was our very high tech Rolodex rolling machine right there. The first spin, what did we land on? Oh, Bitcoin. We land on Bitcoin, guys. All right. So let's talk about Bitcoin for a little bit. I buy a little bit of Bitcoin. I have a little bit of Bitcoin that I buy every so often. I bought, I don't know how much I have exactly, but not a lot. I just buy like $20, $30 worth of Bitcoin from time to time, right? And what got me into buying it was I was listening to a lot of people. I was always interested in it, like Bitcoin and the whole, what is it not, like what is this alternative to currency? And spoiler alert, I'm not a big money guy. I'm not a big like, oh, let me make $1 million just to have $1 million. Let me play the market. Let me do this. So I'm not big on that. And actually, it's like that doesn't even that kind of thought process. Like I'm like allergic to. I just feel like it's kind of fake. Sorry, I have a ghost in this apartment, and it just ran up on the side of me. Um, well, that was scary. If you hear some noises, oop, she's messing with things around here. If you hear some noises, it's the ghost in here. So don't be scared, guys. So yeah, so I'm not like a big money guy. Like I don't care about like, oh, invest in this, invest in this. So that never did it for me. Especially like I kind of have to, as a person, I have to know what I'm putting my money in, or I have to know what my I have to know what like these companies are doing. And since I feel like most companies are, what's the word I would use? What is it when a company is illegally doing things? Thank you. The ghost sometimes gives me answers. I feel like most companies are corrupt. Um, I can't put my money in it knowing that, for me personally. And you could say like, oh, that's contradictory because you do X, Y, and Z, and X, Y, and like you go to Whole Foods is Amazon, Amazon is, corrupt, blah, 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 whatever. Yeah, I guess. But I can't put my money into like that thing. I don't know. We're hypocritical, all of us. That's fine. But I can't put my money in investments in things that I don't like. For instance, all of those huge companies that seem to hate people, a la something that rhymes with Matt Doc or Bait Street or Vanguard, those kind of companies. And if you could decipher that crazy riddle, then that's great. But those kind of companies, I can't invest my money in. And those are the companies that pretty much are in all the pensions and 401ks and rule the world. And so that's fine. That's fine for people. Everybody needs their pension, a good job with a pension or a 401k. But I can't invest more money into these things, right? This was my thought process for a long time. And I talk to people. I don't know that much about finance, so I don't really know exactly what's going on with that. But for me, that's what I know right now. And for the longest time, I wasn't able to invest in that kind of stuff. So Bitcoin was interesting because Bitcoin's like, wait, who are people that are involved in this? And then it's like, oh, these people that's from me seem to know the regular financial system that the world is run on and are really literate in that. And then they're really also literate in Bitcoin and how it works, and that Bitcoin isn't like, people say that it's like a crypto, which all crypto is not the same. In my belief, I think Bitcoin is its own thing and backed by the blockchain and this is all obviously just, what we're told and what we think we know, but this is what I think I know. Bitcoin is backed by the blockchain, and then there's a certain amount of Bitcoins that are released into the public. And so like there's a finite number of them, right? So I guess whether people sell or buy them or the supply and demand, it's similar to the stock market as like what's happening right now. What I want to get to is that Bitcoin keeps on going down. So it shot all the way up to like 120. I think that was the highest. Don't quote me on this because once again, I'm not a financial guy. But Bitcoin shot all the way up to like 120, 130, around that. I believe that was the highest. And then now it's all the way down to like 65, 66. And guess what? I'm still buying Bitcoin, guys. I'm still going out there and buying it. And I started because I stopped watching, like listening to podcasts about it because I saw it growing, and I felt like I did research on Bitcoin for probably like a year before I felt comfortable trying to buy it. And when I say trying to buy it, because I'm in New York, and in New York, it is very hard to buy Bitcoin on a safe, or it was very hard to buy Bitcoin on a safe app or website that I don't feel is run by like a third party company that is susceptible to just shut your account down and take your Bitcoin or just shut your stuff down. So I did my research. I was like, oh, let me buy Bitcoin. And so when I went to go buy it, I was unable to buy it because I'm in New York and it's not quote unquote legal. Something's not legal here to do. Like I can't self custody it, which you got to look up all these terms, but self custodying is when you take it off of the app because you have Bitcoin on the app, and then you put it into like a wallet. Like think about, you have a wallet. Like I take the money out of my bank account, which is like the app, and then I put it into I take it out of there, withdraw it, and put it into my own wallet. So I have it. They call it self custody because nobody could take it from my wallet. It's a lot harder to steal, or impossible to steal from your wallet because of all of the firewalls built in that you create, like all these passwords and stuff. So when I went to do it, I couldn't buy it. And then eventually something happened in New York where you could buy it. And then I started buying it. So I started buying like $20, like I was saying, $30 of it. And it was kept on going up. I started buying at like high 80s, like 87. And then it kept on going up to like what the number that I said, like 120. And then it shot all the way back down. So it's like 60, it's at like 65 now. And it's like people are alarmed, like, oh, is it going to keep on going down, this or that? And obviously with laws being changed and with, billionaires, trillionaires, all of these even corrupt companies that I would deem corrupt. Thanks, Ghost, for giving me that word, corrupt. The ghost is smiling in the room right now. They're buying and selling Bitcoin. They're like sold a bunch of it, and I guess they're like trying to manipulate the Bitcoin market. But the thing about that why I say to like keep buying and stuff, there's two reasons, and then we're gonna get off Bitcoin, guys. I know I've been talking about it for a while, but the first thing is I really like, because like I said, I'm Millennial Rolodex 35, my whole year, my years on this earth. Money seems to mean less and less now, especially in our society. It's just like, how much do you have? $5,000. All right, you'll be broke in a month if you don't get a job. Like how much, especially in New York. So money, like whereas $5,000 was some people's salaries. Not that long ago either. Talking about what, like 40 years ago. And so money's like not even a real concept anymore. It's like you need to make at least $1,000 a week, it seems like, just to live like uncomfortably comfortably, and you could I'm gonna patent that, uncomfortably comfortably. I like that. So the concept of money with inflation, like they just keep on printing it. It's not backed by anything. It's not backed by gold, nothing. It's just backed by our words. So that doesn't make sense to me. What makes sense to me is Bitcoin has a specific number, and you can't, as the story goes, there was I think, what is it, like 21 million or something like that. I don't know. There's whatever million, there's a set number, and they can't make more of it. So whatever's out in syndication, or is that the word, Ghost? Is syndication the word, Ghost? Money in syndication? That sounds right. All right, the ghost fell asleep. But that money in syndication, you could only have fractions of that, and so they can't make more. They can't just inflate the money, So it makes sense. So why I keep on buying it is because they can't make more. The price could keep on going down. That's okay. But as long as you have it, nobody could take more or less of it. Nobody can make more or less of it. There's only a finite number of it. So they can't just keep on inflating it. So what you do have of it can only go up or down, which to me, that makes sense. I don't know. Like, to me, that makes sense. Like, all right, there's an outside company can't say, you know what? Since everybody has Bitcoin, we're going to make 10 million more Bitcoin. They can't do that. They just have a set number. So whether I have 0.5 of a Bitcoin, if the Bitcoin price goes down, then I'll have 0.5 of that. If it shoots up, then I'll have 0.5 of that. So even if it's at zero, that's okay, because there's always going to be, in my mind, it could always go up. That's my opinion. And also, the real reason why I think this is a good investment too is because when I was younger, I'm from Brooklyn, and a lot of older people in the 90s and early 2000s that I know, if you're from New York, there's this place called Park Slope, which maybe everybody knows now as yuppies and hipsters in a really nice area. That's where the Barclays Center is. It wasn't always a nice area. In fact, it wasn't a good area at all. And so a lot of these older people, like a generation above me, like, all these New Yorkers, they all will tell you this, but whether this is true or not, I don't know. But the story goes, everybody had an opportunity to buy these brownstones for like hundreds of thousands of dollars. Maybe it was like 500, 900,000, but they were under $1 million. Now, if you try to buy a brownstone over there, I mean, I can only imagine 5 million, 10 million fluctuates there. So that's New York real estate. So there's this guy who's big on Bitcoin, and he compares Bitcoin. His name's Michael Saylor. He's a billionaire kind of guy, like a finance guy, and he was big on Bitcoin right when it started. And he said that buying Bitcoin is like investing in New York real estate. You don't invest in New York real estate so it shoots up, so the real estate shoots up real quick and then you resell it. No, you invest in it and then you give it to your kids when they get older and you pass away, and you just have New York real estate. And that's the same thing as Bitcoin. And that makes sense to me because it seems like a real tangible thing that people say is not backed by anything, but I think it's backed by more than our money is now, to be honest with you. Especially, I'm not a financially literate guy, but it seems like money doesn't mean anything, especially when you could bail out banks and make stocks, whatever you want them to do, and fluctuate markets like that. And then you got politicians making all this money off of the stock market that also are passing laws that help companies that they're invested in. So I think Bitcoin is the least manipulated thing that we could have. So that was the first thing on the Millennial Rolodex, guys. What's the next thing? Oh, right after I should have had it on this episode, but right after this podcast, if you guys want to pretend like you're hanging out with me, pour yourself a nice Guinness, because I've been drinking at least a Guinness a day, and some would say that is en route to alcoholism. I say that's en route to a good time. Also, the reason why I started drinking Guinness is funny because I get on these little, we all do, right? Like Mara Lady, she's not home right now, but there's a ghost in her place. She gets on her little watching videos, specific people's videos, and specific down those rabbit holes from week to week. I do, and we all do. You do too, right? I'm not gonna out her the person that she loves to listen to the most unless she wants me to. No, I'm not gonna do it. The ghost shook its head no, and the ghost knows Mara Lady better than anybody, so I'm not gonna out her. But I could tell you what the name rhymes with, but I won't do it because the ghost is very, very much so shaking her head at me. That's some good green white tea right there. I went down a rabbit hole of watching Jason Momoa videos of him on interviews, and he seems like a fun guy, and I want to hang out with him, and I want to be buds with him. But he says he drinks Guinnesses. He drinks 3 Guinnesses a night, and I was like, that sounds pretty good, man. So I think I'm just gonna, and he was like giving his workout routine and stuff. So I said, and I've been trying to like get a good workout routine, a good diet routine. So I was previously on a diet, instead of watching what I eat, I'm just gonna work out intensely. And when intensely to me means doing 100 push-ups a day, that's it. And drinking a Guinness a day. Because right after I was watching those interviews with him and realized I want to be best friends with him, I was like, let me get a Guinness. Let me go get some Guinness. So I got a Guinness and I drank it, and I was like, I kind of forgot how good Guinness was. And then it's a stout, right? So you're like, oh, it's going to be heavy, thick, whatever. I drank it. I was like, I honestly think, and I think this is a real thing, you could look this up, Guinness is healthy for you. Okay? Because I was feeling a little sick the night before I drank a Guinness, and then I drank Guinness, and typically after I drink, I feel very sick the next day. And I felt better the next day. So I think there's some good antioxidants in there. Don't check that. Just take my word for it. Guinness is good for you. And it's not that heavy either. It's very low in calories, especially compared to other stouts. So guys, drink a Guinness. Drink a Guinness after you listen to this. Or drink a Guinness while you're listening to this. Because then I'll be drinking a Guinness at this time. The same time you're drinking, I'm drinking. So we're drinking a Guinness together. All right, guys. So that's it. What else? Oh, another thing me and I didn't write this down, but I'm looking at a piece of paper right now. Something just flew out of there. All right. No, you know what? We'll save that for another day. Guys, go out, drink Guinness, buy Bitcoin while you're drinking Guinness, and um wearing a Happy Dad hard seltzer hat, because that's the hat that I've been wearing the most recently, which is just one day, really. And that would be easier to lie to you guys if Ghost wasn't watching me and knows my every move and knows the hats that I've been wearing. So she would have just caught me lying, and I can't do that because I can only lie in private, guys, on the podcast. So wear your hat, wear your favorite hat. Let me know what your favorite hat is, and drink a Guinness. All right. I love you guys. Have a great day.